What's up, guys? Welcome to Real Reserve. This is going to be a channel all about physical media. We're going to go through movie hauls, movie reviews, and we might even do some movie hunting depending on how these things go. If you like movies, or if you're a collector of physical media, like and subscribe to see all my upcoming content. So today's video is going to be showing off some of the movies that I picked up this month in the Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble. I think we've all spent more than we really should have, but don't be bashful. Put those movies in the comments that you picked up this month, or if you didn't pick anything up but you did happen to go in to your local Barnes & Noble to just peruse, put down in the comment which movies you were most interested in. So the first movie that I picked up in this year's sale is House from 1977. This is a Japanese film that I hadn't really heard of. I did see Bill Hader talk about it on his episode of the Criterion Closet. He touted this as being one of his favorite horror films of all time. That piqued my interest and made me want to check it out. I had no idea what this movie was about going into it. That's the way I like to pick up movies. Don't read anything about it and go into it completely blind. So reading the synopsis on the back of this, it compares it to a episode of Scooby-Doo directed by Mario Bava. I have had the opportunity to go ahead and watch this film, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this is one of the weirdest movies I've probably ever seen. So the story here is a group of schoolgirls that travel to an aunt's house out in the countryside. Whenever they get there, things quickly start to turn weird, and more weird and mysterious things happen as the plot continues. Some of the special effects in this movie are just completely ridiculous. Now I think that's part of the charm here, right? Is this movie doesn't take itself too seriously. So there's a lot of goofy special effects that happen and just odd things that happen in general that looking back are pretty fun. This is one of those movies that could have just as easily been lost in time had Criterion not picked it up. Overall, I enjoyed this one. It's not something that I would reach for to watch once a month or on any type of regular cadence, but I could definitely see the appeal to it. The next film that I picked up is Guillermo del Toro's Cronos. Saw a lot of people recommending this movie on Reddit and other social media platforms. I went into this movie without looking up anything having to do with the plot or what it was about. It turns out it's a vampire film. I have seen some of the other Guillermo del Toro movies in the past, and I happen to like them. So this film was about a device that was created a couple hundred years ago, which is designed to create immortality. An antique shop owner stumbles upon this device and uses it on accident. So we enter into a battle between a man who's on his deathbed and is desperately seeking this device. He also has all of the history as to its uses and the rules that accompany it. Of course, the shop owner has no idea as to any of these rules that are associated with this device. Overall, this is a great film and one that I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm excited to have it in the collection, and it's one of those that I will definitely pick up and watch again sometime. Next on the list is Uncut Gems from 2019. I really like this movie. Whenever I saw it when it came out on Netflix, I'm excited to have this one in the collection. It's so cool to see Adam Sandler in a serious role or in a drama film like this. I've seen a lot of people say that this movie is an anxiety ride all the way through to the end, and I completely agree. This movie is going to have you on the edge of your seat for its entirety, and I don't think anyone could have foreseen the ending that happens in this. This is another one that if you don't have it in your collection, this would be a great time to go into Barnes & Noble and pick it up for 50% off. Next up, I've got Raging Bull starring Robert De Niro from 1980. I'm excited to have this one in the collection and get a chance to watch it for the first time. I haven't seen it yet, but it's definitely on the list that I plan on watching soon. Next on the list is Come and See from 1985. This is a World War II film about a young teenager who is so excited to get out and experience the thrills of war. He joins the resistance against the Third Reich in a small village in Belarus. This is one of those movies that's going to be a very slow burn. Oftentimes, there's going to be very little, if any, dialogue at all. We get to see the arc of this character as he experiences war for the first time. It's very interesting to see how they changed his appearance, also his mannerisms as the events take place. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Again, it's one of those that I'm happy to have in the collection and one that I will watch again in the near future. The next film on the list is the original Scarface from 1932. This is a movie that I've been trying to get for some time. I've seen it on Whatnot a couple of times and I just always get beat out on it for some reason. There are people who bid this movie up on Blu-ray to $15 or $16. So I figured I would wait until the Criterion sale to pick it up from Criterion for half price. I'm a big fan of the remake starring Al Pacino. In fact, that was actually one of the first action films that I saw as a child. I rented that movie on VHS in the early 2000s. I would have been maybe 8 or 10 years old. I remember it specifically because of the 2 VHS tapes and the inconvenience of having to change those. That was the first time that I'd seen a movie that came on 2 separate tapes. One interesting thing about this film is that it was actually a call to the government. There's some text that pops up in the opening credits of it that talk about the gangsters that are running the streets, and that everything that takes place in this film is based off of true events. It has some differences to the later remake with Al Pacino. It's interesting to look back and see which characters from the original were evolved and molded into the characters in the new film. Overall, I truly enjoyed this one. I'm excited to have it in the collection. It's always cool to go back and look at the source material for a movie that came out later, that maybe that was your first impression of that material. Next up is Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. This is a great movie. And one that I haven't seen since it first came out. I remember it being pretty long, but it's got all of the mobster greats in it. So we've got Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. Overall, this is a great film, and one that I would highly recommend you add to your collection. The main critique of this film that you'll see online is the visual effects that they did on Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci to make them look a bit younger. That's something that I didn't really notice whenever I watched it for the first time, but overall, it doesn't really bother me that much. Next up is No Country for Old Men from the Coen brothers in 2007. This happens to be one of my favorite films of all time. If it's not in my top 5, it's definitely going to be in my top 10. Javier Bardem's performance in this, I feel, is absolutely incredible and serves as one of the best antagonist portrayals in cinema. This is an upgrade for me. I started with the DVD of this, upgraded to the Blu-ray whenever I had the chance, picking it up for $1 or $2 off of Whatnot. So I'm excited to have the 4K and be able to see this in the highest quality possible. If you haven't seen this one, definitely pick it up. In fact, don't just watch it once, watch it twice. Second to last on the list is the 1993 cult classic Dazed and Confused. This is one that I didn't even know Criterion had released, and I just happened to see it whenever I went to Barnes & Noble. I last saw this movie around 10 years ago. I haven't seen it since. I'm excited to have it in the collection and be able to watch it and experience it on Blu-ray. Technically, this last film is not a Criterion Collection release, but I got it in the same trip as some of the other films that I just went through, so I figured I would throw it in here at the end as an honorable mention. And that movie is the Arrow release of Basket Case from 1982. This is one that I happened to see on the shelf, and the slipcover just immediately caught my attention. You can see why. And what's cool about this one is it actually came with an alternate slip, which I happen to like more of the modern recreation of the artwork. Let me start by saying I really enjoyed this film, and it's definitely one that I will be watching again. The story revolves around a pair of conjoined twins that were separated. Both of them aren't fully developed, so you have one who is seemingly normal, while the other is, for lack of a better term, just a monster. So they're separated against their will, and they're on a mission together to hunt down and kill the surgeons that performed the operation. So the name Basket Case comes from the fact that the smaller monster of a twin lives inside of a basket. So the normal brother carries him around in this basket in order to commit these horrendous murders. This takes you back to the times of practical effects where there wasn't such a reliance on visual effects. There are some genuinely scary jump scares in this movie where the monster is popping out of the basket or some other place that he's hidden. If you haven't seen this one, I highly recommend that you check it out and or pick up a copy of it on Blu-ray. Thanks again for watching, guys. It's always fun to have the opportunity to really nerd out and show some of the movies that I've picked up recently or the movies that are in my collection. If you made it to this point in the video, throw down in the comments what is the movie that you were most excited to add to your collection in this year's Criterion sale. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see all of my upcoming content.